Hi everyone, Casey Carr here. It's come to my attention that I may have inadvertently demotivated some of my downline. And listen, the last thing I wanted to do was demotivate you guys at all. I mean, I like money just as much as the next guy, so that would be stupid of me to demotivate my downline. So anyways, I want to get one thing straight. My problem I have with Tracy Davison has nothing to do with the penny matrix. It just happens to be it's going to affect all of us. This shithead. Anyways, but I also realized by beating up a dead horse, it's really not going to do any of us a lot of good. So, I'll make some fun videos. I'll start off by reading you guys the S.B. Fuller story. Some of you may already know it. It's out of a book from from Napoleon Hill. It's called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. I figured I'd switch gears and start reading different stories out of this periodically. So I'll just name this video like episode 1. Alright. Meet the most important living person. Somewhere in this book you will meet him, suddenly and surprisingly and with a shock of recognition that will change your whole life. When you do meet him, you will discover his secret. You will discover that he carries with him an invisible talisman with the initials PMA immobilized on one side and MMA on the other. Not MMA like multiple, mixed martial arts, but NMA, negative mental attitude. This invisible talisman has two amazing powers. It has the power to attract wealth, success, happiness, and health, and it also has the power to repel these things, to rob you of all the things that makes life worth living. In the first of these powers, PMA, that enables some men to climb to the top and stay there. It is the second that keeps other men at the bottom all their lives. It is the NMA that pulls other men down from the top when they have reached it. Perhaps the story of S.B. Fuller will illustrate how this works. We are poor not because of God. S.B. Fuller was once a 7 black tenant farmer in Louisiana. He started to work at the age of 5. By the time he was 9, he was driving mules. There was nothing unusual in this. The children of most of the tenant farmers went out to work early. These families accepted poverty as their lot and asked for nothing better. Young Fuller was different from his friends in one way. He had a remarkable mother. His mother refused to accept the hand-to-mouth existence for her children. Though it was still she had ever known her whole life, she was barely getting along in the world, but she knew there was plenty of joy and plenty of happiness out there. She used to talk to her son about her dreams. We shouldn't be poor, S.B., she used to say. And don't ever let me ever hear you say that it's God's will that we're poor. We're not poor because of God. We are poor because our father never developed a desire to become rich. No one in our family has ever developed a desire to be anything more. No one developed a desire to be wealthy. This idea became so deeply ingrained in Fuller's mind that it changed his whole life. He began to want to be rich. He kept his mind on the things that he did want and off the things that he didn't want. Thus he developed a burning desire to become rich. The quickest way to make money, he thought, is to sell something. He chose soap. For 12 years he sold it, door to door. Then he learned that the company which supplied him was going to be sold at an auction. The firm price was $150,000. In 12 years of selling and setting aside every penny, he had saved $25,000. It was agreed that he would deposit his $25,000 to obtain the balance of $125,000 within a 10-day period. Written into the contract was a condition that if he did not raise the money, he would lose his deposit. During his 12 years of soap salesman, S.B. Fuller had gained the respect and admiration of many businessmen. He went to them now. He obtained the money from personal friends too, and from loan companies and investment groups. On the eve of the 10th day, he raised $115,000. He was $10,000 short. Search for the light. I had exhausted every source of credit I knew, he recalls. It was late one night, the darkness of my room. I went down, kneeled down on my knees, and I prayed. I asked God to lead me to one person that would have $10,000 in time. I said to myself I would drive down 61st Street until I saw the first light in a business establishment, and I would ask him. I asked God to make the light as a sign indicating his answer. It was 11 o'clock at night when S.B. Fuller drove down Chicago's 61st Street. At last, after several blocks, he saw the light in a contractor's office. He walked in there, seated at a desk, tired from working at night, a man whom Fuller knew slightly. Fuller realized he would have to be bold. "Do you want to make $1,000?" Fuller straight out asked. The contractor was taken back by the question and said, "Yes, of course." "Then make out a check for $10,000, and when I bring back the money, I'll bring back another $1,000 profit." Fuller recalls telling this man he gave the contractors names of other people who had lent him money, and explained the detail exactly what the business venture was. Let's explore the secret of his success. Before he left that night, S.B. Fuller had a check for $10,000 in his pocket. Today, he owns controlling interest not only of that company, but 7 others, including 4 cosmetic companies, upholstery company, label company, and a newspaper. When asked him recently to explore with us the secret of his success, he answered in terms his mother's statement so many years before. "We are poor not because of God. We are poor because our father never developed a desire to become rich. No one in our family has ever developed a desire to be anything else. You see," he told us, "I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get it. So I read the Bible and inspirational books for a purpose. I prayed for the knowledge to achieve my objectives. 3 books played an important role in transmuting my burning desire into reality. They were 1, the Bible, 2, Think and Grow Rich, 3, The Secret of the Ages. My greatest inspiration comes from reading the Bible. If you know what you want, and you're more apt to recognize it when you see it, when you read a book, for example, you'll recognize opportunities to help and get what you want." S.B. Fuller carried with him the invisible talisman initials PMA, imprinted on one side and NMA on the other. He turned on the PMA side and amazing things happened. He was able to bring into reality ideas that were formerly mere daydreams. Now, the important thing to notice here is that S.B. Fuller started life with fewer advantages than most of us have. But he chose a big goal and headed for it. And of course, the goal was an individual. In these times, in this country, you'll still have your personal right to say, "This is what I choose. This is what I want most to accomplish." And unless your goal is against the laws of God or society, you can achieve it. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose by trying. Success is achieved and maintained by those who keep trying. Anyways, that's my attempt to switch gears.